presuppositional atheism. There you go.
Cool. Hi, Lucifer.
Hello?
Nice to meet you.
Is
I've heard
this Ad-
lots about you. This
is
is
this
Adam.
Adam? Okay.
Yeah. So first question, just kind of curious. How old are you?
Rough, are they Earth years again? It's
Humor me.
roughly 17 billion.
You've been around for 17 billion years. Wow. It says how old is the universe? 14.4. So cool. Wow. 3 billion. So that puts the creation of the angels 3 billion years prior to the creation of the universe.
Well, I mean, whose years? That's the important part. Time isn't really a
Earth
thing.
years. I'm just speaking about Earth years here.
Yeah, but I mean, before Earth years, how would you measure it? It's not.
By
Time
Earth years.
isn't a flow, it's a place.
Time isn't a flow; it's a place.
You familiar with William Lane Craig's views on time?
Yeah. What do you think about William Lane Craig's? Are you A theory, B theory? What do you think about like theories of time?
I mean, it's simple. It's just how do you perceive A going to be?
Interesting. And so, question that's I'm sure on everybody's mind: how fast is your download speed, Lucifer? What kind of connection is that?
What you mean right now? South Korea has a lot of bandwidth.
Oh, awesome.
I would have figured you'd be in North Korea.
No, that's a terrible place. Why would I be there?
Because it's a terrible place.
Oh. No, I don't make terrible places. I don't like them. They're just.
So,
Terrible already. They don't need his help.
so is your depiction in the Bible accurate? And what's, if not, what's the most glaring inaccuracy in it?
I'm going to say the whole evil thing. It seems to me Christians take the enemy role very personally.
What is evil?
To them, evil is. I think I've heard them say like there's primary and secondary, and evil would be sort of sinful, and to the Christian, a sin is something that goes against God.
And do you go against God?
No, unless he told me to. But that hasn't happened.
And so you said that's their view of evil. What's your view of evil?
There isn't any. It's something man has made up.
Something man has made up.
Yeah, are all words something that man has made up?
Well, yeah. And
So-
sometimes they match reality, sometimes they don't.
So when a problem of evil defines evil as some gratuitous suffering, would you say that exists?
Gratuitous? No. Think about it like this. There needs to be suffering in order for there to be heroes.
Lucifer, you're a pretty cool cat.
Thank you.
So there's no suffering that doesn't make heroes?
No, I'm sure there is.
So if the primary idea of suffering, or the purpose of suffering, is to make heroes, and not all suffering causes heroes, then wouldn't some suffering be gratuitous?
Well, that's why I said it's not even really about being gratuitous. It's you're familiar with evolution, right? Not every change makes a positive.
Mm-hmm.
But you said there was no gratuitous suffering.
But there isn't. You have to give so many chances before you have a hero.
Suffering could also do other things other than make heroes.
I'm not talking about
It cause growth in a person, or 1,000 other things. It's not the primary role of suffering.
That doesn't seem right, but I mean, he's been around 17 billion years longer than I have.
I
so.
mean,
Ask me stuff out loud.
discomfort is the primary driver of discovery. Also,
So when the Bible records kind of like the falling out that you had with God, is that just slander?
Falling out.
yes, it's complete slander.
Okay.
It would be like the most. I would say the most wrong part, the most incorrect part of that story is that he would throw me somewhere where he does not exist, because there isn't a place where he does not exist.
Can you hold God accountable for his slander?
Do I hold God accountable for what people did?
Can is there any recompense that you can expect from God for his slander?
But he doesn't slander me.
I thought we just agreed that the biblical recording of the drama you guys had was slander. But
Yes, but it's written by men. It's,
Ah,
oh, right, okay. You guys are totes cool. It's no big deal. On good terms.
well, yeah, it's. I am made to like him. It would be strange for him to make me to not like him.
Okay. So why are you on the earth? Did the Bible get that right about why you're here?
Well, this time I'm here because someone told me I needed to try some food.
what food? Is it pho?
Well, specifically, it was pizza, but I've done other things since then.
What is the best pizza?
Was it worth coming all the way down for pizza?
I would say so. Once I had ham and pineapple on pizza. That
Oh,
was great.
that is good. Oh, so
Ham and cheese, not kosher.
Have
no,
you tried
ham
coffee?
and pineapple.
Have
Call
you
it
tried
Hawaiian.
coffee, Lucifer?
What was that, John?
Have you tried coffee?
Yes. It makes me go poo.
Oh,
It's
All right.
supposed to do that.
then you need to try chock full of nuts, because that's the heavenly coffee.
Who is your favorite human, Lucifer?
Like ever?
Yes, like ever.
That would be a tough one. I'm gonna go with Genghis Khan.
Okay.
I mean, he was, the original gangster. He rode low.
Oh yeah.
You pick somebody popular. If you've been around for quite a while, haven't you known a lot of people that haven't been written about throughout the history?
Well, yes, but most people that are written about are kind of boring.
Really? I would say the opposite.
All right. How about this one? Who is your favorite human that isn't of historical record?
That would be Mark Newverst of New York.
Okay.
There have been like, what, 100 billion humans so far?
Okay,
And somebody recently.
Of New York. No, well, I don't know how recently. The last 200 years. So, is he alive currently, or did he die?
No, he's been dead. He was born 1806.
And why do you like him so much? What was so great about? What was his name? Mark Nuvis?
He made the best goofy hats.
He's a haberdasher, right?
Yeah, he'd be a haberdasher.
Yeah, haberdasher.
That's what I call General Haberdasher.
I mean, eventually someone else will come along and I like them more.
Goofy hats. Can you describe one of his hats?
Yeah, though my favorite one is it's like, you know what Santa Claus hat look like?
Yes.
It's like it has the fuzzy white across the forehead, but it's stiff brim around it, and then it has this sort of bucket top, and it's all green. It was festive.
Lucifer's not such a bad guy.
No.
We got some good taste.
Read any good books lately?
Well, I recently reread Paradise Lost.
What do you
But
think about
that's-
Paradise Lost?
I think that's where a lot of modern Christian misconceptions come from.
Yes. You think so?
Yeah, it's great poetic language, though. It's
You know, it tells a great. It's like comic book, universe. That's how it comes off to me. It's like reading a comic book. None of it pertains to anything, but it's a great. It's fantasy, but it's a great story. What's you ever read? What's your have you ever read any Mark Twain?
Huckleberry Finn.
Do you like Huckleberry Finn?
Yes.
I only read the versions with the N-word taken out.
That's my favorite. My favorite book he wrote is Huckleberry Finn. Everyone says it's racist, and the guy actually frees a slave. He frees a slave, not because he wanted to be, politically correct. He did it because he liked him, because he was his friend. How is that racist? I don't get it.
So when you and Richard Dawkins go out for lunch, where do you guys usually go?
Well, I've never been to lunch with him, but I think he seems very uptight, so I'm going to say cucumber sandwiches.
Where is Hitchens?
Where's Hitchens?
Yeah.
He's back to where he was before he was Hitchens.
Where's that?
It looks sort of like a blob, like a pimple, only not pussy. Like bumps. I know that was probably gross. Let's see.
Yeah.
No, but that's totally fit somebody like Hitchens.
Oh,
so.
come on.
Let me see if I can put it better. There's like a plane that I refer to as the medium because there isn't a better word for it, but then there's all these bumps. He's one of those.
When can we expect an orator to appear with the same prowess as Hitchens?
But there's already one.
Oh. They're just not of note yet?
Let me be clear.
No. Here. Let me be clear. In December, there will be a star in the sky over their head.
I know, really. I got a question for you, Lucifer.
Okay.
If I started off as a weak atheist, but today I'm a strong atheist, have I been deconverted in some way?
Well, it's going from weak to strong?
Yes.
I think that would depend on you consider weak atheism to have some sort of dogma or indoctrination.
No, I consider weak atheism to have some kind of a doubt as to the absoluteness of strong atheism.
And strong are words that imply a relevancy to something, so they can't in themselves be absolute.
I think it would depend on how you define your words.
Yeah, you'd have to.
Okay. What I'm saying is, my strong atheism presupposes the infinite existence of matter, of energy, of something, as opposed to there ever being a state where something doesn't exist, where there's a state of nothingness. So existence is infinite in my presupposition.
Well, yeah, that's actually a fair assumption.
Okay.
I don't want to change the subject because this is a really interesting conversation. But Sty, what the fuck did you do to your leg?
What?
What the hell did you do to your leg?
If Lucifer don't mind, you can continue on. Hey, H hey, Stizor, hope you're doing well, man.
Hey,
What's up,
bro,
Brother John?
Joe, how you doing?
Oh, it's this.
Keep still, Ace. Just a finger banging your mic, bitch.
You got a lot of noise on
I'll
there, man.
finger bang it as much as I want.
Di, seriously, what did you do to your leg?
I didn't do shit, man. It was the surgeon. It wasn't me. I didn't do shit. I was asleep. I woke up and I got a big giant cut on my leg. I got 2 big giant cuts actually. Blood clots. Little wondrous fucking things that they are.
Ask left.
Looks cool, all right, Seth.
Say what?
I said that looks cool, though, right?
If gore is cool, then yeah.
Fixed gore or scars. Sorry.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt the conversation. What was it about? Please don't say God or anything stupid shit like that.
Oh,
No, Seth Seth and his friend there is interviewing Lucifer. I had some questions for Lucifer.
Beware, he is trollage.
Well, I mean, I like Sty. He called me the shit.
I actually like Lucifer. He's funny as fuck.
You are the shit, man.
So yeah, what's the conversation piece today?
So by the way, Green, always bug it off. Hello, Reuven.
Hell yeah, Lucifer would know. Lucifer, I got a question for you.
Okay.
You maximize that, it can't get it out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's
We had
not
that
like
problem
a
last time.
F11 or something?
Yeah, it would never come back.
Well, it's a really good thing that this thing was so expensive because it can't even do a simple thing like minimize a window. Cool. I love Apple. Okay, Lucifer, my question for you is, it's about being. So, you came into being, right? God created you.
For lack of a better word, yes.
The lack of it's not as though you like congealed in a corner somewhere, right? You were created.
Well, yeah, he was the mover, I guess people would say.
As a mover. Okay, cool. So, certain things exist, and like contingently, right? Dependent on other things, and then certain things exist necessarily, right? And so, most theists tend to think that God exists necessarily. This idea that we have in modality, what's your input? Would you say that we've got it pretty close to the way things really are, or are we just completely off the mark? Do we have a good ground understanding of being?
By we do, who are you speaking for exactly?
We humans, right? All the stuff that we've done in philosophy and theology and metaphysics and all of that, right? Have we gotten close to how being really is?
Well, being is different depending on where you are. You've gotten pretty close to where you are.
Gotten pretty close to where I am.
Like you, generally, because you were speaking, we generally, yes.
What do you mean by being? Just wondering.
So like if there's an existential proposition that's true about something, then I would say that that thing has being. I don't really know of a much more specific way to describe
So
how
form?
something. What's that?
That's form?
Form.
Like physical form, logical form, conceptual form? Like just kind of something that you can put an idea to? It exists?
Well, okay. So if something can have a true existential proposition, then I think and it has being. Like an example would be
14.
Yeah, I think even 14. That 14 would be an example of something that's an abstract object, but there still seems to be true propositions about it. Like in chemistry, right? Certain descriptions of certain things, like a calcium ion, it has like the charge of +2. So there are certain true propositions about that. It's like nature kind of just brute forces numbers. It kind of shows that they exist. So it seems like certain things exist, but they don't have a shape or a form. I don't really know where you're
So
going.
it's something you can apply an idea to.
You can apply an idea to it. Can you be more specific about that? Because maybe I agree with you. I just don't really know what you mean by that.
You're saying something that's true that you can think about, you can conceptualize. This doesn't include things that are false, that you can conceptualize, right? This is what you mean by being?
Yeah, oh, let's say that I say yes. Where are you going to go with? I'm curious to know the angle that you're coming at.
Because I guess I thought you were talking about being as something that exists in either the physical form or, say, in your, like a conceptual space, like a number, as you would say, or a logical abstraction, like a language even. But you're saying that's only true things that exist. You refer to as being.
True thing. Well, what I'm saying is that if there are true existential propositions about something, then that thing has being, right? So if I say like this pack of cigarettes exists, right? So what I'm doing is I'm making a proposition that's existential in nature about this thing, and because it's true, that there's a relationship between it being that proposition being true and this thing having being. That's, I think, the most minimal way that I can kind of explain this idea.
So does God have being?
Yes, because I think there is a true existential proposition, God exists, and so the relationship between that proposition and reality is that God has being. It's probably actually backwards. It's probably God has being, and that's why the proposition is true.
So if God didn't exist, that would still be a true existential proposition about him. God does not exist.
Yeah. So you're talking about anything that exists then, right? Or anything that can be thought about at all. So everything.
Yeah, everything. Wait, no, Seth just made a good point. Wait, so if God doesn't exist, then the proposition God does not exist is true. And that's an existential proposition. Yeah, so then I guess that would be a good way to describe being. Damn. Yeah,
I'm just trying to make you think. That's all. Don't worry about it.
No, I appreciate conversations like this. Seth just destroyed my working definition. Dick. Okay, I have more to learn. I was telling Seth about this. Does anybody else in here? I know at least one other person in here might, but does anybody else in here smoke medical marijuana?
Is that somehow different from regular marijuana?
Well, we're on air right now, so I don't want to be going around making it seem like, oh, this guy is all about that. But legally, for people who might be listening, yeah, I do procure it legally with a medical recommendation. Does anybody else smoke?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Quote unquote medical marijuana.
I wish I could get medical marijuana.
I looked up online because I had this weird experience for the very first time recently, and it was the Wikipedia article called it derealization, and there's another one called depersonalization, where it's you experience being, but without the filter of I don't even know how to explain it. Without the filter of putting things into categories immediately, it's this immediate perception of things that exist. So an example would be when I saw myself in the mirror, the first thing I saw was an object. I didn't see it as me, which was kind of weird, but also really cool. And so when I'm talking about being, I'm talking about, now that's an example of me being spatially located, but just experiencing that as it is. It seems like a lot of the stuff that we've done in philosophy of religion has gotten close, especially in ontology, but since I have 17 billion years worth of knowledge here, I figured I'd ask, are we close? Do we have these ideas right?
Well, this is the thing. It runs a gambit. Where I'm from, everything exists. It's a infinite existence. And where you are, only certain things exist. And to your definitions, it seems like things that you could think of exist in some way.
Lucifer, are you a Neoplatonist?
Am I a Neoplatonist? I guess in some instances I could be called a Neoplatonist.
And slightly related to that question, was Socrates black?
No, he's a colored skin. He would be 10.
So stuff that we could invent in the future, you would say exists then, Lucifer? Like, say, if we invent a time machine in 1,000 years, that exists now in your world?
Well, a time machine as like written about would be impossible, but I guess it would exist in the sense that it's an idea.
Yeah, anything. It could be, say, we the Grand Unified Theory or something we create in, say, 20 years, 100 years, whatever. An android, anything. This all exists before it's we made it.
Well, it's not the before. It is just in a place that
It's
you're
like
not.
ready. Is it? It exists somewhere, but
Just not
not
where
in
you
our.
are. Yes.
Do we drag it into our plane of existence when we invent something?
You mean from like the medium? No, you guys do it all on your own.
Drag things into existence from a different plane?
So is that how God creates like the universe with prior to its existence? He just pulls it from this other plane.
Well, no, I was thinking if he was referring to another plane, he'd be talking about the medium. But no, that's the thing. That's why I was bringing up I wasn't really created. Like God's substance is God's substance, and everything's formed from it. That's
So there's an infinitum of the medium is infinite, and you just grab from it basically, or
Yeah.
God can grab from it to create things.
yeah, he like reaches down. Yeah, this is all metaphoric. Like he has arms, but like he reaches down and molds clay things. You know, like the Bible says, kind of, sorta.
So we also metaphorically reach into this medium to pull out stuff when we invent something, say like a banana holder.
Oh no. It's the other way around. It's more like what you make ends up there, and not what's there comes to you.
So what's there doesn't have everything in it then until we make it.
Well, it does because it exists near what some people would call infinity. Like I said, time's not a flow; it's a place. It's places you go.
So there's already a banana holder in the medium before we invented it.
But that's why it's confusing. You're still using the word already. There is a place in which
It's time independent, so you can't use already and before. Is that what you're saying?
yes, but I mean where you are is also time independent. It's just how do you interpret what you're seeing.
Causality requires time.
The causality requires causes.
Maybe there's just a limitation to our language. We should just switch to Esperanto.
We should create some mathematical symbolism or something, some symbolic language that nobody can pronounce or say, but everything will be clear.
Right, Einstein?
We tried that. It didn't work.
Oh, ISIS is away from keyboard right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems to be.
Tried that? When did we try that?
Oh, not we, as in me and others like me.
The angels tried it, or some philosopher say in the past?
People would call them angels, yes, the angels. You know, God doesn't tell us everything either.
So if we tried to invent a symbolic language that would kill all confusion or dissolve most of this semantic confusion, we would fail at it.
And an alarm.
No,
Because-
we filled out it because
The thumbs up?
we have language like absence of sound. Like we don't need sound for language. It's all based off like intent, and there's no real way to convey that to you. And that's what our goal was to convey it to you.
Google Hunt.
So if we invent this language, we couldn't convey it to others.
Well, yes, because you have your limitations in your invention.
Or we couldn't convey it over sound anyway. We can speak it.
Would it be invented or does it already exist?
Yeah, because we could have a written one. Language.
I mean, you would have to shy away from the word already, but it's technically both.
Would the language of mathematics be an example of this symbolic language that avoids misrepresentation of semantic ambiguities. I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's a language void of like intent and emotion and stuff. It's just descriptive. So yes, that would be a good example of something similar.
That's awesome. I think that's pretty cool.
Lucifer, do you know Enoch?
Enoch, you mean as in related to the biblical Cain? Or are you talking about the city?
Enoch, he was apparently brought up to heaven without dying.
You mean the one that they say becomes the voice of God? No.
I don't know if he becomes the voice of God. I don't know. He was just.
Well, the story goes he becomes Metatron.
The wheel and the wheel guy, do you mean? Book of Enoch, wheel and a wheel. Got a tour of the solar system and all that chisel.
Mm.
This book's pretty interesting, and it doesn't read like the Bible does. It reads like a science fiction novel. Fucking aliens and shit.
Well, the Book of Enoch was written a few hundred years later.
I know, but it's pretty trippy though.
It was sci-fi.
Dude, if you read it, you're like, what? Wheels and wheels going to heaven in a spaceship? Yeah, okay.
But yeah, it isn't. I'll just use the word heaven. It isn't a place you go. It's a place you are.
Mm.
I think if you replace heaven with space, it makes more sense. Just saying.
Oh, in that book, definitely.
Yeah. It just makes more sense. I mean, if you look at the concept of heaven anyway, it is a bit of a weird place to be, isn't it? In that sense. I mean, heaven and hell, I mean, did they inhabit the same place? Or are they two separate places? I'm not too sure.
Well, I would say the hell doesn't exist as described anyway, but it's all the same place. This is just how do you see the same place I do.
That's what I'm saying. But what would you see as the heaven or the hell or whatever it is?
Well, that's the thing. I don't like using the word heaven because it gives the wrong idea. But like, the medium is the place. You're there and here. This is just how you see it.
So does God reside there then?
Well,
In the other place.
yes, in more than one way. That there is what is God, which I've been calling his substance, and there is what his manifest personality is, which is what I've been calling his avatar.
That's like when he speaks to you and shit, right?
Yes, and pretty much entirely for us aspects good. It's really just for us.
So why would God need to create good and bad in order to? I mean, why would God even create anything? Actually,
I've asked him that, and he doesn't. He has a weird smile, and it's kind of creepy. So I don't ask the question very often. Every once in a while,
my
I get
stomach's gonna
right.
start to hit in a minute.
He has a face.
Not laughing too much.
That's new. Like us.
I thought God wasn't flesh.
Yeah, he doesn't have arms, but he's got a face.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
talking about. His
He's got a cheeky
avatar.
grin.
His avatar
It
is like,
reminds me of the cat out of fucking what's the fantasy
Alice in
thing?
Wonderland.
Yeah, but the creepy version. Was it McGee's or something? McGee's Alice in Wonderland? I don't know what the fuck it's called. It's the creepy version anyway.
So God just has a face? No arms and no legs, but just a face?
Well,
Cheshire Cat.
his avatar is sort of a big blob.
So
It tends to have
see this?
whatever it needs.
So are you literally saying you've seen God's avatar?
Oh, he's
Well-
like that pizza guy. What was that movie?
it's a thing. It's not like we have eyes there. But yeah, I mean, seeing's the closest word, I think. You know, Seth, if you would duck down just a little bit and let the light come over your hat, a little bit higher. There. Oh, too far. A little lower. There, you look like Jesus.
A white Jesus. Was Jesus white?
So is this God? Is this God?
Hey, that's a good question.
He could be that, I guess. He doesn't have a permanent physiology.
Jesus?
No,
Maybe
God.
that's why you. Maybe that's why you were told to come here to try out pizza. So you can know what God tastes like.
If that, oh no, if that's what pizza looked like, I don't think I would eat it.
Who asked you to come and taste pizza?
Michael.
Who, have we ever met Michael?
Oh yes, he's what people call a Kiwi. He's that place north of Australia.
He's a continent?
He's a continent. No, he's from there.
Oh, okay. Oh, he's actually okay. I see. Michael, the angel you're talking about.
No. Person.
Michael, just a guy, a Kiwi guy.
The person from Google. He was in the first hangout I ever did. He told me I needed to try pizza.
Oh. Yeah, I wasn't there. Yeah, first time I met you. Interesting. But you said you materialized in our world because somebody told you to try pizza, but now you're saying that after you materialized and came out to a hangout, then somebody told you to try pizza.
Well, no, I wasn't materialized the first time.
Oh, so you hung out before you came here?
Yes,
Like you were in a hangout. Oh.
I sort
I
of
guess.
I had a hankering, I think is the word, to talk to Nadia. Sort of scare her into life.
Where were you when you were hanging out the first time?
The medium. We have perfect internet.
And computers, I guess. And Google.
Well, everything that is here is also there.
Can I experience the medium without dying or anything? Leaving Earth?
Well, what would be if everything is there that's here? Why'd you bother staying here? Why didn't you just kill yourself and go there?
Because I can't really
Like
interact.
some things done.
I can't interact as well there. It's so much more effort.
That sounds like a shitty place to be then.
Can I interact with people in the medium while staying here?
Do you mean like interact in a knowable way?
Interact with anything in the medium. Can I perceive anything in the medium at all?
Or perceive, no.
Anyway.
I mean, but you do constantly interact.
How?
So I can't sense it, but it's a part of this world. Because everything's in it, right? So we're in it too.
Can I troll when I get there? You're saying?
You could, but I don't think you would want to.
Do I retain my identity if I go there?
Oh, because this was one of the hard questions I was asked before.
Was it?
Everything,
Sorry.
everything that is you is there, but it's no longer yours.
Do I go there when I die?
Yeah, it belongs to what you were, and what you are, not what you are right here, what you are there.
Is it a kind of cosmic consciousness?
Yeah, you could generalize it into that, but you sort of have your own little consciousnesses.
And do they retain their identity?
This sounds familiar, like Earth. Just saying this.
Did somebody ask him this?
They do. You do, I guess I should say, but it's not like you have one.
Do I become part of a whole?
Yeah, not like a big hole, but yes.
Is it like drops of water in the ocean?
You with the poetics, though. You are like drops of water in the ocean, but you don't really intermix. Does that make sense?
Mm. Are we like? Is it like a honeycomb?
Like pattern? No, not like honeycomb.
Is it more like when you pour alcohol or vodka, say, into water, then you see the swirl in there before you mix it up?
Like I said before, it'd be more like bumps. Think
Oh.
like
So-
goosebumps. It's more like goosebumps.
So is there a substrate for these bumps to form on?
Yeah, like a walkable area. Yes.
Like a solid area, I guess.
We're bubble wrap.
There you go. You're like bubble wrap.
So there's an not unconscious, transcendental part of me that forms into this bubble when I die.
Well, it's more like you're a transcendental part of it.
When I'm dead or when I'm alive? Or
When
both?
you're alive, you're a part of it. It's not really a part of you. I know they're basically the same thing, but you have the emphasis on the wrong part.
So I in my life form a bubble in this transcendental plane with a whole bunch of other people as well.
Or you, like as you are now, is not what formed the bubble, but you're with all the other people also. Yes.
All the other people that ever lived, or all the other people that are alive today, or all the other people that ever will be.
Well, all those things.
So then reincarnation couldn't exist then, right?
Yeah, it's like well, like what you are here, like what you're made of. Like if you think of reincarnation as that, then that kind of flows around into new things. But like as your mind, not really.
Okay, yeah, I guess the physical makeup can be transformed into anything. So you're a dualist then?
And bubbles do split, like they do divide. So I mean, a part of the whole, the smaller hole that you go to could come back and be reused.
But it wouldn't know it. Is that what you're saying? Like if it did get reused, it wouldn't be aware.
Well, it would know it, but what would be it here wouldn't know it.
So there's a separate. My mind is separate from my physical makeup. Are you dualist?
It seems so small to put it in that package, but I guess that's close. Here, think about it like this: the bubble wrap bubbles is like a computer that has a bunch of programs on it. You are that computer, but what you are here is just one of those programs.
Okay, so I'm like one realized potential of my infinite self.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. There you go.
Okay, well, that's it. No, you put it that way just now. I think.
Ding ding ding! You win a prize.
So, I couldn't actually realize another potential of myself unless I died.
Well, are you referring to you as in who you are here, like in this hangout, or you as in what you're like when you're there?
What I'm like when I'm there.
If you're referring to what you're like when you're there can be more than one of you in this place. You're not necessarily limited to one, although I think that would be the most common way of doing it.
Do I have infinite potential when I'm in the medium?
Well, no, you still have your limitations that were given you, but
What are those
it would probably
limitations?
seem limitless to how you are now.
Right. Okay. So I couldn't create another universe, I guess.
Yeah, no.
Did I exist before I was born?
Hell yeah, he just said he did. All future beings are there in the medium too. Go ahead.
I want to know, did I exist before I was born?
But like you're referring to, because we're talking about so many different kinds of yous. Are you referring to you as you are here?
Yeah.
And, I mean, if you take out the word before, yes. There aren't words for this, really. Like,
is the medium independent of space and time?
well, I mean, it has happening, right? It has event after event after event that has cause and effect, but it's not. It is not to be dependent, like independent from you. You are to be independent from it. I know it's hard to not focus on like what you would call the universe and think that is where you start from, but you're not the start.
No, but my ego is the start of me, right? It's just I'm made up of stuff that's infinite, that's been around way before my ego came along. Is that what you said?
Well, yeah. If you're referring to like your full personality, like, are you referring to like Freud or something?
Yeah, my identity, I guess I'd be referring to. What I'd call me.
Yeah, you
My
exist
self-awareness.
independently. You exist independently of the physical, but you wouldn't be here without it.
Is this the only ego I experience?
Okay, are you referring to I as in how you are here, or how you are there?
Yeah. And if I experience another ego, do I forget this one?
Well, no, I mean your ego sort of goes through processes. So how your ego in what you would call like 10 years would not be the same ego that you have right now.
I guess I'm asking is if I existed before I was born, and did I have a physical shape, form, another identity?
Okay. The you that is here would not have another one, but the you that is there could.
And any in the future?
As you would perceive the future, yes, they could have.
But I'd forget either or, right?
Well, it's not that you'd forget. You as you are here would not come back.
All right.
Is ego synonymous with self-awareness?
I think
interchangeable.
I think, as Freud put it, they are kind of interchangeable. Like, there's more pieces to it than that, but a lot of people use it like that.
Does say a bug have an ego?
like in the Freudian sense, in all senses, sorta, right? It's not really comparable.
Is it aware of itself?
I would say yes. I don't think most people would say yes.
So this goes with all life then. Is that the generalization accurate? As self-awareness goes with life?
Well, yeah, that depends, like, how you define self-awareness. Like, everything is in some form aware of itself and its environment.
Yeah. Is it aware that it's aware of itself and its environment, though?
Like, do you mean, does it have a mental image of this is me?
This is me, or this is my flagella, or anything like that, yeah. This is my hand.
No, that's far less common.
I have a question, Lucifer.
Like if the creature has eyes, it tends to think. It associates the things that it sees of itself with itself. So in some instances, it's like partially self-aware.
Are we the most self-aware life that's existed on this planet?
On your planet, yes.
So we're kind of more self-aware than you are then.
Yeah, I would actually say yes. I don't have the same self. So I mean, it would be hard for me too. I have to keep on updating my self-awareness, I guess.
Do we have a limit on our ability to perceive our ability on? Okay, see, our self-awareness is a changing thing. You're saying other animals have a lesser ability to be self-aware. So do we have a more ability to be self-aware in the future?
I mean, I think it becomes easier. Like, it definitely becomes easier, but there really isn't much more for you to be self-aware of.
Say we invent a technology that could help us become more self-aware or increase our sensual capability, the sense capabilities, or something like that. So would we become more aware of the environment? We would become more self-aware then.
Well, your intensity would increase, but the ability, you wouldn't have like new ability.
So if I put on some Google glasses or something that could see infrared, I wouldn't have the ability. A new ability?
No, because you would still have sight. It'd be the same thing. It just, you would adjust your sight to take in more modes of light. Like
I guess what I'm asking is, in the future, say we're evolving, we're changing over time. Could we do this over a eugenic approach or technological approach, or just over time? Could we become more self-aware as a race?
It's like I said, there really isn't much more to be aware of in the self. I suppose, as far as like, if you're just thinking internally, mentally.
No, I'm thinking more sociologically, like as a human race or consciousness. Could we be more aware of things happening around the world?
Well, yeah, but that isn't really self-aware. That's being aware.
But we're part of the whole.
Yes, but that doesn't mean the whole is you.
When I get more in touch with myself, I find I'm a lot more in touch with the rest of the world as well.
Well, that's because the people in the world share a lot of things with you.
But you're not the rest of the world.
But, okay, God makes up the world. And I am God.
You are a substance.
a part of God. And I'm made up of the same substance that makes up the world. I obey the same laws that makes up everything in the world. Everything that I do affects the world, and everything the world does affects me. Wouldn't I be a part of the world? The self is basically a whole.
You would be more like, because you were using self-aware before as in how to be aware of your body and your emotion and intellect and egos and ids and whatnot, but now you're using it in a different way. Like you're using it in the physical sense, the external physical sense, like you're a gear in a machine. And there's plenty to be more aware of outside of you.
Well, I'm a sensing machine, and I get all my sense input from the world.
Well, you say sensing machine. I think that depends on what you want to focus on, because there is the senses are more of tools attached to the machine. Like the computer is the machine, and the keyboard would be a sense.
Is there a global human consciousness?
Not in any sort of metaphysical sense.
So what I can conceive of here won't affect anything across the world.
Not unless you take steps to make it happen.
So just a conception, a thought, wouldn't affect anything. So I wouldn't. So then praying has no effect.
No.
Well, that's what I always thought.
I mean, it doesn't have a prayer effect. I mean, you physically praying affects the air around you, and then people seeing it, and I mean, it has measurable effects, but it doesn't have any like magical effects.
Right. Huh. Well, I like your philosophy. I don't know. I agree with it. I think. I don't know. I like it.
Lucifer, here in a little bit over a month, it's going to be springtime, and the grass will be growing again. Is it the same grass as it was before it died? The grass that comes up this spring, is it the same grass as last spring?
In some instances, yes. I mean, some grass seeds and some grass doesn't.
Is the grass self-aware?
The grass is aware. Well, I mean, it's not aware of like its shape or anything.
But it is aware of, say...
It's aware of moisture, it's aware of soil and bacteria, the things that interact with it. It has the ability to be aware of those and how it affects itself.
So self-awareness can be interchangeable with your senses, your sense awareness. Is that what you're saying? Does reason or logic have anything to do with self-awareness?
Well, that would depend on how you define it, but I would say yes. I mean, it may not affect your brain power to have another sense or have one less sense, but adding a sense doesn't change you, and having no senses doesn't mean you don't exist.
Because that was going to be my next question. If you had no senses, how would you know you existed?
Well, that's the thing, and it's like language is a pretty fucked thing when it comes to explaining stuff. Well, not explaining, but describing shit. English and, well, language itself is pretty inept, I think.
Yeah.
Because, I would agree that a tree is aware or grass is aware. But then that just sounds so stupid when the same word can apply to me. You know, in a sense, like I'm aware of myself and all my cognitive abilities. But then if you say, well, the grass knows there's a sun in the sky, does that mean it like it can count to 10? Obviously no. But it obviously reacts to the sun. Now, if it's just a chemical stimulus thing, well, don't we do that anyway? But we just have higher things that go on afterwards. Like
I have no problem.
you couldn't get the mind without the chemical processes we get. That the one of the same thing, which is weird. So maybe plants do have little weird minds, but just very, very, very limited ones. Like, ooh, the sun's up. That's about it. I know that sounds really stupid, like, but still.
Yeah, but if the plant didn't have any senses, if it couldn't sense the bacteria on it, or the root, the soil, the moisture, the carbon dioxide, and all that,
yeah,
would it be alive? Would it even exist? I mean,
of course it would exist, but like how you are now is shaped by your senses. That doesn't change. Like, imagine your mind as clay. The senses shape the clay. But just because you wouldn't have any senses doesn't mean you wouldn't have the clay to start with.
So would I be more like an unconscious robot? Not reacting to anything?
Would basically still be you, but you'd just be you couldn't compare, like you can't compare a plant's awareness to a human's awareness. But if you were to understand the processes of what's going on, yes, the plant's very much aware of its surroundings. It has to be, or it can't react to being a plant. Basically.
Say we're a human with no senses. Would I be? That would
you wouldn't be anything, would you? You'd be a rock. That's what separates us from rocks. The fact that we've got these things called senses and whatever. Yeah.
Say, could I be alive without any senses?
No.
When, like,
senses are inputs and outputs in the general sense. The only thing that doesn't have them really, which is kind of weird, are viruses. A virus itself is technically dead. It only becomes alive when it comes in contact with other cells. It needs other cells to make it do its job, which is reproduce. Other viruses.
Yeah, but you could say that about any molecule.
No, it's not. It's the only one that we know of.
Like a water molecule, right? Would be the same thing.
Yeah.
But these things are inanimate until they come into contact with a human or another life form. These require. That's why they don't know what came first, the virus or the multicellular organisms. You don't know which one came first. This is not even a joke. It's still a little mystery even today. Like viruses are weird because they're not technically classed as alive when they should be. But they can't classify them because they don't do fuck all by themselves. They just sit there.
Like a water molecule would just sit there until it interacts with a person or something else. Any molecule, really. Protein.
No, but a water molecule hasn't got the ability to reproduce. A virus has, but it will just literally sit there unless it somehow knows when it's in a body. That's even more bizarre. It's like, woo, I'm alive. I'll just wake up now and just start doing crazy shit. Yeah.
Even a virus molecule has senses. It knows when it's around the cell. It's got receptors and stuff.
Bizarre.
And it would be taken in, or it'll just puncture a cell.
Where the fuck did it get all these little keys from?
Well,
like no, but it's just like, how? It's like
it makes it through its host.
That's bizarre.
It causes its host to make it. But yeah, it makes all these little keys and injectors and all sorts of weird things.
It's like, oh look, there's a lock, not for long. And that's it.
It remembers how it got into the cell, and it makes the same keys.
Like just copies it, yeah?
Yeah, it copies itself.
It hacksaws the body.
It basically hacks our code, yeah. Yeah, but even viruses have senses. Well, okay, the virus itself doesn't have a sense, but what it makes to live in has senses. So it makes a house with like a sense of what's around it.
Yeah. It gets activated pretty quickly, put it that way. They might seem inactive, but they are still there, kind of thing.
So a sperm or an egg would also have senses, as just like a virus. A sperm, you could say a sperm is like a virus, how it penetrates the egg and stuff like that, injects itself.
Yeah.
So that's a good question then. How would I know I exist if I had no senses?
No, you wouldn't.
Well, I'm asking Lucifer. Because,
Yeah, it's like that's the thing. But you knowing that you exist is not the same thing as do you exist.
Could I know anything without senses?
I mean, you would have the ability to. You would have like the capability, the power to do it, but you wouldn't have any, because all your knowledge is based on comparison, and you wouldn't have anything for comparison.
We'll say I lost all my senses today, then I'd have a whole life of comparison.
What is? You would be stuck in some sort of
coma,
or like if you were still awake, you would.
I
Like,
wouldn't interact with anything.
You would have your dreams, right? You would interact with yourself. The brain, the human brain, has a great ability to fill the void once it knows what it can fill it with. So I would imagine that you, at the point that you lose all your senses, you wouldn't know that you lost all your senses anymore. The brain would fill it in all the gaps.
And that's it,
So
isn't it?
that would be like a paradise. That'd be the same as being dead, right?
Well, that depends. I mean, some people torture themselves a lot.
Well, if I died, I'd also lose all my senses.
Lucifer, what about dreams? Is it another plane of existence?
No.
Like, it's not like a magical place that you go. It's like you could refer to it as a plane of existence inside yourself.
That's about it. By lucid dream, trust me, it's not a different plane of existence.
Yeah, so do I.
When you learn how to lucid dream, you'll soon find out that your dreams are actually very strange things, and they can actually control your mood when you wake up. I actually spoke to this with Green, because I can lucid dream pretty easy when I'm in them. Very easy for me to take control of my own dreams. You'd be surprised how much they affect your mood in the morning.
When you wake up while you're still asleep.
If you wake up and your dream hasn't finished, you get frustrated trying to remember it, and it can actually bug you all day. And it depends on what type of dream you're having. It can actually raise certain chemicals in your head, which will put you in a mood. Most people who wake up don't remember the dreams, but yeah, the chemical balances won't be all over the shop, which is kind of funny. So yeah.
Yeah, they affect you while you're
dreaming, so to speak.
Like, it's a good thing, really.
In a dream. Or sad.
It's generally a good thing that you don't remember what you dream about, I think.
I don't know. I like to remember what I'm dreaming about.
Yeah, if I remember what I'm dreaming, it sounds to work out a lot of problems, I find.
The ones that you remember tend to work out. The ones you don't normally remember, most of your dreams are what you would call nightmares.
Don't know.
I wish I haven't had them for 20 years.
I was going to say, most of mine I control, so they're not nightmares. Yeah, I can turn them into nightmares if I wanted to, though.
Well, see, that's the thing. You're not limited to one dream a night.
No, you're not. Actually, I'm just thing. Most of the time when I have a lucid dream, it's towards the end of my sleep. I'm going to wake up anyway. Or it's in the middle, and I noticed. And it's a weird dream. And I lose control of it, and then I wake up, and then I have to go back to sleep.
Hey, have you ever used that sleep app, Sky? There's an app that you can just put on your bed, and it kind of monitors your sleep.
No, I used to just get drunk a lot.
Well, you put put it on, and you can watch your sleep cycles. And then, if you're lucid dreaming, you should see how it changes the curve. It's pretty amazing. Or if you don't drink one night, how your sleep changes.
Oh no, I know for a fact that you can change your mood. I know that already. I know for a fact when I woke up and I've lucid dream, I felt better all day. When I've had a crazy dream and I didn't know and I couldn't control it, I felt shit all day. It's literally changed my mood. I know that for sure. I've done it too many times to know there's a difference between a bad dream and a good dream and how it affects your day. In fact, just your mood in general.
I don't know. I don't think I've had a bad dream in ages. I love bad dreams, but I don't really get them.
I just find them fascinating. I like them because I know what my brain's trying to get up to.
Exactly.
So when I catch it out, when I'm lucid dreaming, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it caught you, but you're like crunching that data there, Oh, you're frustrated over here, You're subconscious.
It's true, though, Because I always like to watch, like, sometimes I'll just know I'm dreaming and I won't change it. I try my best not to change it and just go, okay, where's this going? What the fuck what's my brain doing?
Yeah, I've tried that too. Oh, I'm aware. Oh, shit. I don't want to tell my brain I'm aware yet. And so you just like pretend that you're unconscious.
Like, quick, don't fuck around with it. Just stay out the way. But you end up changing it anyway, don't you? It's like, it's kind of shit. You end up changing it anyway, so.
You can't fool your brain. It knows.
Well, you know what? The first time I proper like lucid dreamed, I was like, wow, I'm dreaming, and like I knew it. So I was like, well, what the fuck am I gonna do? And I had to think quick. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna fall and see if I can wake up without hitting the ground, like, but wake up normal instead of like in a fright mode.
Yeah.
Basically built a big giant crane, hung off the crane, let go. Before I hit the floor, I slowly opened my eyes, like I was just waking up, and I was like, okay, that was fucking awesome. Ever since then, I always tried to like lucid dream, do crazy shit in my dreams.
Have you ever asked the dream character what it's like for him to be a dream character?
No, actually. I'm gonna try that next. I'm like,
you get some crazy answers.
Wow. You know what? I've never actually thought of that. That's my next mission.
Yeah, it's fun.
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, you're a figment of my imagination,
That's actually a good idea. Because normally I like to fuck around with the environments. Well, I normally like to mess with the environments. I love like sculpturing in me dreams, like building landscapes and stuff. I just like the fact you can do it like instantly.
Yeah,
you can just literally build a city around you.
Like reasoning in dreams, like complicated stuff, the stuff I can't really think of in awake. You have this incredible reasoning power.
Yeah.
Spatial reasoning, like you can see, like try. Here's another thing to try. Try picturing a hypercube or something. You can actually get it in a dream. It's pretty amazing. Or any like four-dimensional object or something.
Oh, I know, that would freak me out there.
Well, when you're not constrained by the 3 dimensions of space, right?
I've played on a fucking monkey bar thing. Not called monkey bars, what's it called? Like a child's play thing. What are they called? But not for kids. They're for like, not adults. Like tweens. I would call them tweens. Now you're like 13 maybe, or younger. Not younger actually. It's like a frame with like fucking bars on it and shit that you can just climb all over. I played in one of them in space. That was trippy. Because there was no gravity. But I was still swinging around. But it was in space.
That's another thing. You can fly to Saturn or Jupiter or something. Check it out. Or the sun. If you're looking for things to do while lucid dreaming, just trying to give you some ideas. If you've never done them, do them.
Most of us like dumb shit like getting fucking invaded by aliens and escaping and I don't know. I always jump into my crazy dreams and just like I always like going with the flow. But then I like to change them sometimes because I'll just be like, no, I know this is a dream, so I'll just change this bit. I'm just like continue going with the story that my brain's going for, but I was like, no, I'll just change that bit.
I don't like where that's going. I'm going to be stuck there for a while. It's like the only thing that can scare you in a dream is getting stuck somewhere.
No, sometimes I'll be in a boring dream and I'll spice it up by adding like demons and shit. Like, oh, this is boring. Let's throw a demon in here and get chased by it.
Have you ever tried to just tell like another, let's say entity or character, right, in your dream to tag out? I'm going to stay here. You wake up.
No. I don't really talk to the other characters really in my dreams because I know I'm controlling it. It's like everything else is a figment of my imagination. It's like I'm totally aware that all these things that are like going on is my brain being whack, and I'm just observing my brain being whack, and I can change it whenever I want. So I don't really talk to anybody. I watch it. It's like being in a third-person perspective, really, more than anything else. It's like watching it. It's just bizarre. Okay, that's weird. Flying.
You're meditating in a dream.
It's like when you're flying, it's like I'm not actually flying, but I'm watching myself flying. I'm going, well, that's fucking interesting. Where am I flying to anyway? You know, so I'll just wait, and then I'll peer somewhere, and I'll be like, why am I even there? What's that place there for? You know, trying to work it all out. It's just bizarre. Oh well.
So that's why I asked Lucifer earlier, like, can a lower or an animal be aware that it's aware of itself?
Lower. Like, give you the idea. Dogs tend to be aware of their front paws.
Like an insect.
The same thing for insects. They tend to be aware of what they can see of themselves.
So they can't be aware, like in a third eye perspective, of themselves.
Yeah, not really, but I mean, humans weren't always aware in the third eye perspective either.
So then we wouldn't call ourselves humans back then, right?
Oh yeah, but you would have been completely the same. Yeah, I mean, biologically you would have been exactly the same.
So we were human. This wasn't like say a million years ago. This was recently.
It's like you had, well, I mean, a few 100,000 years ago. I mean,
even a few 100,000, we wouldn't be human. According to the fossil record, anyways.
I think according to the fossil record, the earliest modern human is 180,000.
Modern human? Oh wow! There goes 50,000. Update my data, my input.
Like even before that, it's like you had the ability to, but it's a matter of someone putting two and two together and then explaining that to everyone else. It wasn't something inherent.
So we became human when we gained the ability to philosophize.
That depends on what you define as human.
The ability to philosophize.
Well, then yes.
No, I define human as being aware that you can be aware of yourself. When we gain that ability, self-awareness,
so
awareness of ourselves. Basically, as I was saying, like you can watch yourself from a third-person perspective.
Well, see, this is the thing. How do you know that everyone you've ever met has that capability?
Oh, I don't. But when one person got it, I would call that the dawning of the human race. Because what separates us as humans from the animals?
Well, there's, lots of things that separate you from what you call animals.
Like I don't have claws.
Well, you have what would be claws.
I don't have a tail, right, at the moment. It's just, I think it's a mental thing. I don't know. Okay, so what would you say separates us from the animals? The most conspicuous thing.
I'm going to go with verbal language. Separates you from the most.
So a dog has verbal language, though.
Yeah, that's what I said. Separates you from the most. There really isn't one thing that separates you from everything else.
Our capacity to kill each other. I would say that's our fucking biggest separation. Fucking
Animals
stupidity.
Like,
No, I'm saying
yeah,
our
there
capacity
you
to
go.
kill without no fucking reason whatsoever other than we can,
Chimps
basically.
can do it.
Yeah, but they don't fucking go around nuking each other now, do they? They're chimps.
But they don't have nukes.
Yeah, but Sty is referring to like the intensity, like to the extent that you can do it.
Like they're doing it kind of cause they're in that kind of weird mode of being chimps. We're not chimps, right? In that regards, we're human beings. We're a lot smarter than chimps, right? We still, to this day, in the year 2015, have the capacity, knowing very well what death is and all that good stuff, will inflict on other human beings without even blinking an eyelid, death upon another human. That separates us from every other species on the planet, in my opinion.
Except for chimps.
And chimps.
I don't know, they can just kill each other on a whim. They can torture each other. They can do all sorts of stuff that we humans do that's just not... They can be irrational, basically, like we can.
Not on the fucking scale we can. Sorry, that just totally separates us.
Yeah, but the scale is we weren't really talking about technology, right?
Mm.
But I mean, if we include technology, then yes, basically everything ever invented would separate you from animals.
And also, we got the capacity to actually commit suicide. Chimps don't.
I don't know if they do or not.
Actually,
No,
there's.
I've never seen a chimp kill itself.
But lemmings kill themselves.
No,
Lemmings are special though. Leave them alone. Leave lemmings alone. They're special.
They're pretty close to primates. Or are they rodents? I don't know. Lemurs are rodents.
So are Christians, but you know. Oh well.
But anyway, that's what I would say separates us: the ability to be aware in the third-person perspective of ourselves. I don't think other animals can do that. So if you're trying to think of something that separates us, I don't know. I can't really think of a better example. And I was asking you guys, anybody in the room, if they can.
Which that separates us from everyone else.
From other life.
Yeah, our stupidity. That's what I'm saying. Our capacity to be fucking stupid is astounding. Blind ignorance. If there was an Olympic Games of the universe and stupidity was a medal, or they give medals out for being stupid as a species, we'd fucking win it every time. We pay to live on our own fucking planet. That is gold right there. We use money as a form of communication with each other. That's fucking golden right there.
Do you think a chimp would do better if he had the technology and civilization, socio problems in cities and stuff, if like Planet of the Apes or something? Do you think they'd do better than us?
A chimp would never even get close to being like a human. This is the point. A chimp would never evolve to be like a human being.
Do you think they'd be as stupid if they ever evolved into a species that could build cities and technologies?
No, I don't think it would be that stupid. I think we are a special case. I think we are the prime example of stupidity. Why? The ability to ask the question of why do we exist is the problematic point that is the elephant in the room.
Exactly.
Nothing else on the planet asks why it exists. It just does and gets on with it. We are the only species that goes, why do we exist? That's problematic for many reasons, as you can tell already. Religion's one of them, you know, just one of many little, how can I put it, manifestations of that fucking problem.
You know, it's another manifestation now, is it makes us human. We wouldn't be human if we couldn't ask that.
It just makes us even more stupid than we already fucking are. It points out the elephant in the room, that we don't know what's going on. We like to assume that we do, when actually the answer's been with us for the fucking beginning of fucking time. We don't fucking know what's going on, or we wouldn't be asking what's going on in the first place. If we knew, then we wouldn't be asking, why don't we know?
Well, do we need to know?
No, that's the point. We
They
don't
had
need
they did they were doing these experiments with these two chimps in this room, and they had these like blocks, L-shaped blocks, and they would stand them up, and when they stood them up, right, they would get rewarded. What they did with one of the blocks was did something to off-center it, and so it would not be able to, stand it upright. If they did it with a child who was like under 4 years old, he was able to figure out how to get it to balance right, where the chimp wouldn't be able to. So again, yeah, it was the same principle of why and how to make the block stand up and balance right so he can get that reward. Couldn't do it. That was the thing separating. It was an interesting experiment.
Could a human child do it?
The child was able to do it, yeah.
The chimp wasn't.
The chimp wasn't.
I mean, this is the thing. We do have something that's definitely separating us from the rest of these fuckers on the planet. What is it? I don't know how to.
When you say the rest of
it, but it does come with the ability to ask questions for sure.
You're talking about other animals, right?
Well, yeah, but they're not like us. I mean, that's what I'm saying. They haven't got that thing that separates us from them, which is the ability to ask questions. The way we formulate it, like they pose questions, yes, but they manifest themselves more physically than they do mentally in the sense of how to solve problems. When a lion wants to eat a gazelle, it's asking itself, well, what's for tea? Obviously, it's gazelle in the menu, so it works out to plan how to get it. It doesn't do it like we would, because we'd obviously, do it a bit differently.
Like a treat from a dog, the dog still knows that there's a treat to be found, and it still knows that treat exists, right? And it'll look for it. And you show the dog a treat, and then you hide it or get rid of it. Then it wonders where the hell it went. Now, that's reasoning power. That's asking questions. It's not stimulus response. Basically, that's like it knows something that it can't sense exists.
But did you see that dog on the news the other day? Its owner was in hospital for the operation. The fucking dog ran like 15 blocks, went missing, ended up in the hospital. Didn't even know where the hospital was, but ended up in the hospital. It knew where its fucking owner was. It had some kind of like crazy idea of where the owner was, and landed there. Like, how the fuck did it do that? Like, seriously, did it spell its way there? Fuck knows. I don't know, but it literally ended up 15 blocks away in the hospital.
The owner was wounded?
No, the owner was in the hospital for the operation. Right? The owner. The dog went missing from the house because, the husband was still in the house with the dogs.
Did the dog know the owner was in the hospital, like wounded, or in an operation?
No, this is the point. The dog didn't have any clue where that person was, but
So
yet somehow
left the house 100 times.
ran away 15 blocks. Yeah, seriously, dude, it was on the news. I was just like, that's bizarre. How did that dog know where to go or anything? It was 15 blocks away.
How did the dog know to go look for the owner that one time the owner left the house?
Yeah.
So
I got no idea, but how the fuck did it know it was that person was in the hospital? The dog's never been there before.
Perhaps the person went to the hospital prior, had the dog in the car or something?
Yeah, this Reuven's thing there. Probably, I don't know, I just thought it was weird, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I've heard a story like that before, similar, yeah. Crazy.
It's not like God did it or anything, but still, I like shit like that. quantum entanglement probably somewhere along the line. The dog's quantum entangled with the person. It's like, yeah, I know where you are anyway. It's sixth sense. No, but that is cool though. The way the dog just showed up at the hospital. 15 blocks. They were amazed just the fact that the dog fucking got there from where it was.
20 blocks, according. And the picture's so cute. The dog's just sitting there, like in the waiting room next
Yeah,
to
it's
the
like
doors. Such a
it
cool
just
picture.
literally strolled in the hospital. It's like,
Yeah.
I want to see me. I want it, bitch. It's weird.
That's cute.
Cool story though. Battling cancer and all that stuff. Man.
I am being called for food.
Being summoned.
Has anyone ever had King-Pap before?
Has what?
King-Pap.
King Fapt.
King-Pap. It's Gimbap. The King-Pap.
King Bap. Nah.
No.
Oh, you should try it. It's sort of like egg roll, but with like seaweed wrapping. It's like a mixture between egg roll and sushi.
Yeah, that just sounds gross.
Yeah, it does.
Well, there's a bunch of different kinds. Like there would be the gingbap that's more like sushi, and then there would be like the gingbap that's more like a cabbage egg roll or like a chicken egg roll.
Yeah, it just sounds gross.
Oh, okay. It's not. It's delicious.
It probably is, but to me, it just sounds gross.
It's like everything in the East, right? It looks gross but tastes awesome.
Oh, I don't know. Just I like bacon.
Sounds interesting.
You could wrap a pile of shit in bacon. I would eat that stuff.
But anyway,
The only proof of God existence is bacon. Because before he made the universe, he actually made bacon. Then he made the universe.
Yeah, proof God existence.
Yes, bacon.
What do we
The
think
smell
of
of bacon is heavenly, for sure. When you go to heaven, it just smells like bacon butties. Freshly made bacon.
So there'll be no Jews or Muslims in heaven.
Oh no, there is, but they get to eat bacon in heaven. That's the point. That's why they want to go there because you can't sin eating bacon in heaven. It's free for everybody.
That is their heaven. We can eat bacon now?
Yep.
And pork and sausage and 1,000 other things.
There's no kosher laws, dude. Well, think about it, right? They only have kosher laws to get into heaven. No one says they actually exist when you're in heaven.
Not if it makes you unhappy. If they can't exist, technically, if it makes you unhappy.
Exactly.
By definition.
Bacon for the win, people.
It looks like Lucifer bowed out to have his gingbap.
Gingbap. Something to try.
It's almost 4:30 in the morning here.
I'm
I'm just going to stop the live broadcast at this time. I mean, we'll still go on just in case. 'Cause I almost feel like I'm falling asleep, but the room will stay open.
Alright, bro.
That was an interesting interview with Lucifer there. All right. If anybody's listening, I think we have one viewer out there. There's a link in the event page if you want to still join us. Come on in.